After grim studies with Professor Port, Ruby was sitting in a corner after Weiss' rebuke. Jaune, you okay? Ruby, oh? Jaune didn't see you there. I was just... Jaune, don't lie to me, you're hurting. I know what sadness looks like. Believe me, I've been there. Ruby, you have? Jaune, yeah, people doubted me all my life. I'm no stranger to critical people. Ruby, but Weiss is right, I'm not a good leader. Jaune, Ruby, how long have we been here? Ruby, just a few minutes, why? Jaune, know how long have we been in Beacon? Ruby, just 3 days. Jaune, and you expect to be the best in that time. Get over it, forgive my bluntness. But nothing in this world gets finished overnight. If Weiss can't accept you being leader, that's her problem. All you have to do is keep your team together. Ruby, how did you become this tough? We're only 3 years apart. Jaune, I've had the weight of the world bore down upon me. I've learned that every man is not created equal. I was only 4 years old. Figure this one out. Jaune, everyone kept calling me weak, but I vehemently disagree. No matter how the world tried to face me, I'll turn the other way. I will never turn back from the path I set for myself. This is part of a song I love. If you can tell what it is, I love you too, as a brother or sister, I mean. Ruby, wow. I know you'll be a great hero one day. Jaune felt something on his face. It was water. He quickly wiped it off. Jaune, curieux? I thought I was no longer able to cry. Ruby saw the action and got worried. Ruby, hey, you okay? Jaune quickly composed himself again. Jaune, I'm all right, let's get to the next class. Ruby, okay? Jaune noticed Professor Ashbin speaking to Schnee. Jaune, hope that straightens her out. Later in combat class. Glinda, okay now for our next match. She looks to the screen randomizer. Glinda, Carden Winchester versus Jaune Branwen. The two fighters met in the arena. Glinda, tournament rules apply now. Are both fighters ready? Carden, whatever. Time for a quick win. He sneers. Jaune remained looking on with an empty expression. Carden, okay, big shot, no one to save you here. Jaune. Carden grinds his teeth, trying to get a rise out of him, only to be met with furious flames. Jaune expertly twirls and swung crimson, barely giving the blow hard an opening. He made all his attacks quick and decisive, but most of all crushing. After he flew to the wall and his aura broke. Glinda's eyes widen at the proficiency and brutal takedown, looking at the aura meters. Carden 0%, Jaune 98%. Only full-fledged huntsmen can be that good. As she remembers this boy is Raven's child, she quickly understood he would be trained as a full-fledged huntsman. He was recommended by her and it wasn't out of bias. Glinda, winner Jaune Branwen. Ruby, way to go big bro. Yang just looked like she was slapped in. Face, get your mind out of the gutter, please.
Yang, Ruby.
Blake looked on, surprised. His style was slightly similar to a certain jackass, but way less killer intent. Nora, way to go fearless leader. Run and Pyrrha applauded modestly. Much later history class with Oobleck. Oobleck, now who here has suffered due to this circumstances? Velvet raised her hand. Oobleck, horrible, just terrible. Because of this actions people create monsters. Just look at the white fang. Blake looked down in shame. Oobleck, if we don't try to be better, history just repeats itself. Now who here can tell me the turning point of the war? Weiss raised her hand. Weiss, the Battle of Fort Castle. Oobleck, good. Now who can tell me what was the Faunus advantage in that fight? Carden threw a piece of paper at John's head as he blocked it, but it looked like he was raising his hand.
Oobleck, ah.
Mr. Branwen, good of you to contribute. John just looked at Carden over his shoulder and stood. John, it's night vision. The general made a huge tactical error ignoring that fact. Carden, please, it's easier to train an animal than a soldier. Pyrrha, you're not the most understanding person out there, huh, Carden?
Carden, what did you say?
Blake, John is right. General Lagoon made the mistake of trying to ambush the Faunus in their sleep. If he paid attention to his classes, maybe he wouldn't be remembered as such a failure.
Carden, why you?
Oobleck, Mr. Winchester, final warning. So much later, Beacon Cafeteria. Young, sheesh, thought that guy would never slow down. Weiss, I find it a good challenge to keep up so you can learn faster. Blake was reading her book. Ruby, how could you even tell what's he saying? What about you, big bro? John, plenty of fast-paced training can keep your mind sharp. You have to think fast to be fast. Is that right, little sis? He cheekily glances over Yang. Yang narrowed her eyes and realized what he meant.
Yang, okay.
Time out. I know I'm older than you. John, I'm older by 4 months actually.
Yang, bullshit. How would you know?
Ruby, swear. John just pokes her forehead with his 2 fingers. John, foolish little sister.
Yang, HMPH.
Then their laughter was interrupted by a should. Ouch, that hurts. Carden, see? They are real. Dove, yeah. What a freak. Velvet, please stop. Weiss, despicable. Blake just glares. Young, must be hard being a faunus. Nora, hey, where Jaune? Jaune approached from behind and wrenched Cardan's hand off of Velvet's ear. Jaune Arc, what wrong with you? You an animal lover or something? Jaune, that person you were bullying is a person, but I do love animals. I have pet, and besides, what I'm currently looking at is lesser than an animal. I'm looking at trash, and we all know where that belongs. As he said that, he grabbed Cardan's collar, flipped him over his shoulder, and threw him over to the garbage bins. At that display, his three stooges decided to fight but was frozen by the trademark raven glare. The three was paralyzed and sat back down. And the doors opened to reveal Ms. Goodwitch. She saw what was happening and picked Cardan up with her semblance and instructed the other professors to bring him to the clinic. Glinda, Mr. Branwen, was that really necessary? Jaune, absolutely, and I will do it again without hesitation. For I know right and I know wrong, and I have the good grace to know which is which. His gaze unwavering. Glinda just sighed and walked away. Glinda, I've never seen that glare for so long. Oobleck, yeah, reminds me of the old days. Port, that young man truly is his mother's son. Back to the mess. Velvet, thank you, are you a? Jaune, not a hero. Just a man.